Hi everyone, and welcome to the Heal Naturally podcast show. I am so excited today. I have just spent half an hour discussing all sorts of conditions and how this wonderful product can help people. So I'm excited to share that with you. But first of all, let me ask a couple of questions of our listeners before we start our interview today. So, do your emotions have a hold over you? Do you constantly feel overwhelmed, or do you identify with the feelings of anger, sadness, fear, grief, worry, or overthinking? For me, it's all of them. Do you need something to help you process these emotions? Absolutely. And what if I told you that my guest is going to tell you about the world's best kept secrets? I'll say that again, the world's best kept secrets in the pursuit of an emotionally balanced life. Well, you are going to love what you are about to hear, and I would like to extend a very, very warm welcome to Rhett, Ogston, Doctor of Chinese Medicine and Research Scientist, and founder of Applications and Promemo Essences. Welcome, Rhett. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Athena. Thank you for having me.
Like I said, we've just spent, I think, half an hour chatting about different things, and I could talk to you for hours and hours. You're so interesting and so knowledgeable on so many of the conditions that we face here in Australia and actually all around the world. Can you please tell me and tell our listeners about your wonderful products?
Certainly, it'd be an honour. We're going to discuss the Promemo Essences today. So this is our peace essence. It's our generalised essence for all emotions. So for people that are completely emotionally overwhelmed, who can't actually specify what individual emotion it is that they're feeling, then that's the essence that they can use. And that works in relation to a person's emotional filter system. So basically the meridians, which when I worked at RMIT, there was a lady there, Professor Irene Kosick, and what they demonstrated was that people experience their emotions through their meridians, and that certainly influences their reality. So the easiest way to improve your reality or your understanding of reality, to experience it as what people call namaste, would be to clear your meridians, and certainly that's what the essences aim to do. So when someone takes the peace essence, it clears all the emotions that might be overwhelming them, and then they can identify the specific emotion that they're feeling, and take a more specific essence, like for example, the calm essence, that processes the emotion of anger or any derivatives of that, and then they can continue on living an emotionally balanced life.
So, Rhett, when we're talking essences, what are we talking about? What are the essences? Where are they derived from?
Great question. There's actually 5 different modalities, and that's why this product is actually a world first, and as you said, probably the best kept secret in healthcare at the moment. It took 15 years of research and development to actually bring together 5 different modalities that actually synergistically enhance the effectiveness of the others. So, for example, coming from the Southern Hemisphere, I love bushflower essences. However, I couldn't find one of those essences that actually synergistically enhanced the effectiveness of the other ingredients, so therefore it wasn't included in the product. So what is included though is 5 modalities of Chinese medicine, Western herbal medicine from naturopathy, Bach flower essences as one of the longest standing emotionally essences or emotionally beneficial essences out there, bioenergetic medicine and homeopathic medicine. So the research indicated that the specific ingredients that have ended up in the end product actually synergistically enhance each other for more effectiveness in clearing meridians and therefore allowing people to live an emotionally balanced life.
Okay, so it sounds like they're blends, and they incorporate essences from, I guess, all different areas. I mean, you were talking about Chinese herbs, you're talking about homeopathic essences, so you're not talking about just one particular area. You've actually combined all that we've heard of and all that we know. Is that correct? So when you're talking about emotions, because I'm really fascinated by this. I go through so many different emotions in my life. You know, having a family, running a business, etc. And if I'm the type of person who is prone to, say, anxiety, and I wake up in a sweat at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I can't control what's going on in my head, I'm being overwhelmed, which one would you suggest for me?
Well, anxiety is considered a blend. So generally it's related to fear. A lot of people who have come through for China, and speaking just in relation to Chinese medicine, is fear will be the one that actually debilitates kidney or kidney jing. So essentially that's the primordial energy of a person. So that's why it's debilitating. People will wake up in a sweat.
Yes.
From that point of view, when people do get to that condition, I'm just going back to a client to give it a real world taste for your listeners so they can understand. It was a gentleman that came in, and I didn't actually know his complete history, and he mentioned that he hadn't had a great night's sleep, and when he did fall asleep he woke up in a similar state to what you were describing, and we recommended that he took the love essence and the carefree essence.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fearful and he was anxious, which were the two emotions we identified for him. And he came back in and actually said to us in a follow-up the week later that was the first week's sleep he's had for the longest time. And we didn't understand why, but he later admitted to us that he'd been in the Vietnam War.
Oh, yes.
There was what he was overthinking and also feeling fear with. So one of the other strengths of the essences in the way that they were designed was we know that people don't usually feel one emotion at a time, and by that we mean sometimes there's a primary emotion or a secondary emotion in terms of psychology, and it can be anger hiding sadness, for example. So a young lady who passed through the clinic, she was incredibly sad at the passing of her grandmother, but if anyone mentioned it to her and tried to talk about it, she would use anger as a defense to that. So when you have that occurring, you need to have a product that is adaptable to all different emotion combinations and permutations. So in this exact case, we use two of the essences to process what that person was feeling at the same time. So the empowering part for the listeners at home is that they actually get to become their own emotional health expert.
Well, my next question is that when you're talking about the essences, what's the recommended daily intake of the essences? How much do we need to take on a daily basis?
Yeah, for those people who are going through a very intense emotional period, so people involved in a relationship breakup, for all of us that have gone through that, it can be heartbreaking at times.
Yes.
So that's what we consider to be a severe emotional disturbance. So for those who say it's a 5-drop dose, and about 4 times a day is enough to get you through that. If it's a mild emotional disturbance, then 3 drops 4 times a day. And just taking as per the emotion arises. And to identify the emotion, we actually made that really easy. We gave people a chart that they can purchase called the Anatomy of Emotions chart. And if you can see, it's broken up into the 5 elements in Chinese medicine. And each of those has what we call a secondary emotion that actually allows you to identify exactly what you're feeling. And then you can take from them the 2 or the 3 or the 4 that you're feeling, blend those 2 together, blend those 3, 4 or however many together, and then process that again. That's
fantastic. So, being the best kept secret in the world, like that's such a huge statement, and I can understand why. I mean, for this to be available to consumers where you don't have to go and visit your herbalist or your naturopath, you can actually purchase this yourself based on the emotions that you're feeling. How did you come about formulating or sourcing this product?
That's a great question. That actually goes all the way back to 2001.
Wow.
And I was exceedingly fortunate enough that in my science degree when I was at Melbourne University, the gentleman called Dr. John Underwood, who was the forefather of autoantibodies in Australia, he was my course advisor, and he actually invited me to do my honours year with him investigating the immunomodulatory properties of Chinese herbal medicine. So even back in 2001, John being right at the forefront of understanding, he actually scientifically proved that Chinese herbs do interact synergistically with each other to enhance their effect. And I was immediately captured by that as an idea. So much so that immediately after my science degree, I completed the honours degree. I went and worked at RMIT in the science labs, and then straight away realised I wanted to learn Chinese medicine, so I did the double degree there in Chinese medicine and human biology. And from that point forward, straight away I was looking at the herbs, how they interacted, the 5-element theory and how that influences emotional health. And Chinese medicine having like a 5,000-year rich history in Chinese, in the understanding of how emotions influence your health in terms of the 5 elements as well, and balancing that can balance numerous other symptoms or concordances. It just captured my attention. So for 15 years, just sat and created the synergistic blends of Chinese herbal medicine and looked at Western herbal medicine. And I've got a wonderful team of other practitioners that help me as well. We sat and went through their herbs. We worked out what interacted beautifully with each other. And we did that for all 5, and then we got to the 5 and thought, well, that's 5 competing products. And kind of like the holy grail would be to find the ones that actually interacted in one product. And hence why 15 years later, we have them. And that's what this product is that your consumers can now purchase.
15 years later.
Yeah.
15 years. So this isn't something that has happened overnight. This has taken a lot of research and a lot of work and a lot of formulating, obviously, to get it absolutely right for the consumer, and that's incredible. So 15 years ago you started this. When did you launch the essences?
We launched them about 5 years ago, and what we found was that the categorization of where we could put them as a health product was an issue. We wanted to absolutely make sure that consumers had access to this amazing product, and obviously to know that we were doing it correctly. So we actually worked with some advisors from the TGA to make certain that what we were doing was correct. And in that, we've only just now been able to come out and launch full scale and say, look, this is the Promemo range, these are essences, and they can help you with your emotions.
So it's been in the market, so for what, 5 years? You spent a decade in researching all of these ingredients and putting them together. Can you, I know you've spoken about the emotions, but again, can you highlight the benefits of the products?
Oh, absolutely. It's when I think back to the types of clients and what the benefits they were achieving, it's so wide ranging in terms of demographics. Like my wife she's fantastic at everything she does. She takes care of our 3 boys wonderfully. She's active in the business all the time.
Yes.
There's never a bare second. And mothers are great at taking care of everyone else, and they probably need to be a little bit better at taking care of themselves.
Absolutely. Yes. That's a very true statement. We're falling apart. That's what happens when you're juggling, work and children, and I'm testament to that. I'm telling you, women in particularly my age group are hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, and the benefit to them is that, it removes that reactivity in life. So she's able to be there and be more present with the kids. She doesn't worry about the future or what's happening next. She doesn't regret the past anymore. She's able to live more in the present. And we continuously always have a set of Promemo. There's one in the car, or one in each of the cars. There's one on the windowsill at home. The second that we feel emotional disturbance, we're straight away in there. We take the essence, and that just allows us to both be present for our kids, which, we place a really high important value on that.
So, Rhett, how long does it take before it actually starts working on the emotion?
If you ever had a look at the product, or if the consumers have seen it in the health food shops, when you unscrew it, it's a dropper. So basically, you take the severe emotional disturbance, it's 5 drops, we'll put them underneath the tongue, and the reason for that is right where the sublingual artery is. So pretty much the absorption into the bloodstream is immediate. And even going back to when we were at the Mind Body Spirit Festival years ago, we had thousands of people come through, and they were all trying it, and instantaneously were noticing the changes on the spot as they were taking the essences.
That's incredible, because a lot of people who perhaps don't take natural therapies have this belief that they don't work immediately, that it's actually going to take a couple of weeks before it's in your system and you start to feel a difference, which has always been the issue with natural therapy. But what you're saying here is that I'm having a particular bad day, my anxiety levels are through the roof. I can take this very simple natural remedy, and it's 5 drops under my tongue, and I should instantly start to feel the effect of it. Is that correct? Wow. Gosh.
And all of this is antidotal, of course, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. And like we said, thousands of people through the expo, and we had people walking past just yelling out to us and saying, "Look, I've used this. It's an amazing product." We had one gentleman, a funny story. He came up the front and he told us how much he didn't believe in any of it. Told us that it couldn't work as quick as it did. And I said, "Look, I'll make it. I'm a betting man. I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll believe that you're an honest chap. You take the products here, and if by the time you've walked down to the corner and it hasn't worked, come back and I'll give you a set for free." And he actually walked to the corner. We watched him, and then he continued around the corner. And I thought, oh, he's gone. So either he doesn't want to take up the offer, or it didn't work, and he's not going to come back for a free set because he doesn't believe in it at all. But he actually walked back around the entire way, came back and said, "All right, I'm taking the set." And I said, "Well, do I have to give it to you, or are you paying for it?" And he said, "No, I'll pay for it because you're right. It worked that quick."
That's amazing. That is. I mean, tell me who couldn't use this natural therapy? Is there anybody? I can't think of anybody. Everybody that I know needs this product. Everybody. Is there an age group? Is there a certain age that can't take this product?
The only people that can't take the product are those that aren't breathing.
Okay, so it's perfectly safe from what age would you say? Well, what's your recommendation?
My wife took it all the way through a pregnancy, and even with the children, if they were going through separation anxiety from the get-go, as soon as they were born, right through, we just put the 3 drops into the water, and then they were able to drink that. So 3 drops in 100 ml of water is the general ratio, so like 1 cup of water, and you could do that. And there's so many funny stories around this. One of them being that my wife, when she was pregnant, I think with our 3rd son, she was having a particularly rough day. And I happened to be cooking spaghetti bolognese. And I served her a meal, and I said, after the meal, I said, "Come sit on the couch." And normally she'd say, "No, I've got too much to do." And she said, "Okay, I'll come sit on the couch." And she sat down and relaxed a little bit. And I said, "How are you feeling, love?" And she said, "Oh, I feel really calm." And I said, "Well, that's interesting, isn't it?" And she actually sat up, looked me dead in the eye and said, "You've dosed me, haven't you?" Which I said,
lucky her.
Yeah.
Lucky that you thought to do that.
One of the other collaborators, he had a young son, and when the son was about 6, and I love this story, it's one of my personal favourites because it just shows children really are the future. His dad got up, and the way he tells the story is he was having a really rough morning, and he'd forgotten things for work, and he was running late, and breakfast was burning, and he was yelling at his son down the hall to get ready for breakfast. And that wasn't the normal start to the day. They normally get up and set intentions in the day. Yes. They have a cuddle, they make the bed, they go have breakfast together. And this morning that just hadn't happened. Everything had gone wrong. And Dad was yelling, and his 6-year-old son walked out and said, "Dad, you need the green one." And that was enough for that gentleman to stop and realise he was being angry. And they did.
Oh, how wonderful. Can we just, now I know, how many in the set is there?
There's 6 in a set. So there's 5 essences that you need.
Yes.
And they're in the 5 elements, which is why there's 5. There's 1 per element, 1 per each pure emotion.
Yes.
And the 6th one was the peace essence. And the peace essence was the one that you take if you're in complete overwhelm. And that's a combination of all the other 5.
Oh!
So
go through the 5 before we start to talk about the special offer that you are giving our listeners today.
Absolutely. So we have the calm essence. It's from the wood element, so that processes anger. So any of those times you're feeling angry, frustrated, or toxic, that's the one that you take.
Yep.
Heart essence. Now that one's the more interesting one because it's from a Chinese medicine point of view. It processes both sadness and joy. and people often don't think of joy being a bad thing, but essentially, if you're holding on to an emotion, then it becomes like driftwood when you're out in the ocean. And if you got onto land and you were still holding that driftwood, you can see that that would be superfluous. It's going to actually become disadvantageous to you. So you need to at some point put down the driftwood that saved your life because it no longer has a purpose. So if you're holding on to joy from a past experience, then you're not going to be able to experience as much joy in the future because you're still holding on to something too tightly. So you need to release that. So
how interesting.
Yeah, straight from Chinese medicine. They
wow.
This 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
And also sadness. So, you know, for feelings of sadness, which if I said to you, you know, close your eyes and describe to me how someone would look when they're sad, you know, you'd say, well, their shoulders are slumped forward, their head's down. And it's not because you're psychic that you can do that. We all know exactly what the body stature is. So that can help with that emotion. And then we have carefree. And do you notice that they're all a different colour? They're all different colours from the Chinese elements. Carefree processes overthinking and worry. So for those people that are getting anxious or are worried about the future, or, you know, if they've got a big exam coming up or a business meeting, this is one you can take to stop yourself from letting the cogs overturn. But
it doesn't, Rhett, can I just stop you there? It doesn't in any way sedate you, or, I mean, you're still focused, you've still got clarity, so it's not going to affect you like, say, medication can affect you if you're going through that emotion.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't rob you of the emotion either. And this is something that I'm not entirely sure, but it's something the users of the product have absolutely seized onto and been really impressed with. It doesn't rob you of what's actually occurring within the emotion. Like, you feel the emotion. Yes. It doesn't numb you to still feel it, but you process it and you let it go, but you still learn from it.
Okay.
So whatever it was there, rather than being numb to the experience, you learn from the experience. You just get through it faster.
Okay.
So you go more as a person.
All right. So I'm going into an interview, and I'm really nervous. I can take that particular essence, and but I'm still going to have clarity. I'm still going to be able to go in there. I'm still going to be able to negotiate. I'm still going to be able to discuss. It's not going to affect me. It's just going to take away that horrible feeling in my body. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, if it was a heavy feeling and you were grieving something like the loss of a loved one, she actually, only just this week, 2 years ago, I lost my grandmother, and she was 94 years old. And I can tell you right now, this was absolutely invaluable in that time. I couldn't do my normal training. You know, I wasn't thinking clearly.
Yes.
The body felt heavy. I took this, and it's, you know, immediately it processed the grief, and that's what really it does. It processes grief, melancholy. Straight away, I could actually get back to training, and I could get back into business. And, you know, as we were saying before, if you've got your own business and you've got a family, you have to bring your A game every day.
Every day, yep. You don't get a break. That's just the reality of it. So
I still have to process the emotions around that. So, and then the final one, so love, and that processes fear. So,
well, actually, I need every single one of those. Actually, my household with 3 girls, and my husband and myself, we would be using those essences on a daily basis. Definitely. Yeah. Okay, so
they get when we leave the 2 dogs, we've got get up steps, so we make sure that we put some drops in their water so that we know that they're emotionally calm when we leave as well. So safe for kids.
So is it safe for pets? All pets or just dogs?
No, all pets, straight in their water. Same dosage as people, so 3 or 5 drops in the 100 mils of water, and then they can have it.
And so how big are the bottles? Like, how many drops do we get in the bottles?
Well, it's 20 mil.
Okay.
And it's a lot of drops because we've had the average we do, and obviously we've got 3 young boys and 3 dogs, and we run our own business together. So
that's testament to the product. You're still smiling. That's testament to the product. Yes.
One we probably take the most is calm, and obviously that's anger and frustration.
Yes.
And basically that's been on our shelf for over 1.5 years, and we haven't got through the bottle yet. So they last a very long time. They're amazing at what they do. They work very quickly, and, you know, they save you going to have to go see or to get a consult from the therapist. You can actually just do that for yourself. So
That's actually what I love about it. That's what I absolutely love about it. That as a consumer, I can buy it direct. So let's talk about now the offer for our Heal Naturally listeners. What are we offering today? Because I'm telling you, you'd be crazy not to purchase this product for you. So I can't see anything negative. It's easy to use. It works immediately. It's taken a decade to put together and to formulate by someone who has the credentials. You've got the credentials. There's no doubt about it. You're passionate about it. I can see you absolutely love this product. So I can't see anything negative on this. So I would definitely recommend to everybody that I know to buy a set of these. So what's our deal today?
Well, for your listeners, it's I don't know who gave the name first, but it has been dubbed Emotional First Aid Kit. And for those people that
love that,
either the individual essence or the set of essences, it's 20% off the recommended retail price.
Oh, so what is the recommended retail price on the set?
The set is $101.75.
Okay.
And each essence is $16.95. So with your, I'll check how good my math is, but I think that's just over $80.
So just over $80 for 8 different blends. You go and try and get that sort of price at your local naturopath. I'm telling you, you're not going to get it anywhere. It's been an absolute delight to have you on today, Rhett. I'm so excited about your product. I absolutely love it. I'm going to place an order for myself with this 20% off and start to get those very stressed, anxious friends of mine to try this, because for them it would be absolutely miraculous for something to work immediately, like it would be for me, because I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning in a sweat, thinking about God knows what I'm thinking about. But 20% off the Promemo essences, whether you buy them individually or whether you buy them in the set. You will find them on healnaturally.com.au, and there's the box there. It's a beautiful box set. It's a beautiful product. So thank you, Rhett. Really appreciate your time today, and thank you everybody for listening, and see you in the next podcast.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.